Hello, it's day 201, and I want to talk about scheduling meals. If you read a lot of diet and fitness literature, you very quickly pick up on certain trends that keep repeating themselves over and over. Things that get passed back and forth from diet to diet and from person to person and just keep cropping up. One of the most common ones that I've noticed over the past couple decades is this idea that there are certain times of day when you should eat and certain times of day when you should not. The reason for this changes depending on who you ask. Some people will say that there are certain times of day you shouldn't eat because it lowers your metabolism. Other people will tell you that it's because your metabolism is higher in other parts of the day, so you just naturally burn more calories. I don't know the science behind all of that, but I do know that one of the most common numbers I see cited is 7 o'clock at night. People will tell you over and over, you should not eat after 7 o'clock at night, as if some magic number on the clock will suddenly make you balloon up to 500 pounds. But if you think about it logically, there's nothing magical about the number 7 o'clock. It's just another way of trying to get you to reduce your calorie intake. When it comes to weight loss and just weight loss alone, it really is a numbers game. Calories in, calories out. So say you get home at around 5 o'clock, 5:30 at night, you eat your dinner. If you stop eating at 7 o'clock, you're not going to be doing any late night snacking, and therefore your calorie intake will go down. Your weight will go down. It makes perfect sense. But some people think that it's a magic thing. It's a magic number. 7 o'clock at night is like the cutoff for when your metabolism is burning all that fuel to when it will just immediately become fat hanging off your hips. And I will admit, when I was younger, I used to think that skinny people had some trick, some method that they would use to make themselves burn those calories faster and faster. And there was a time frame in my life where I believed that maybe it was a time of day thing. Like if you skip breakfast, maybe your metabolism tanks for the rest of the day and, everything gets stored as fat. Is that how it works? I sometimes thought it did. But if you really think about it on just like a pure flat base of logic, there are two ways you can schedule your meals. You can eat at a designated time of day, or you can eat whenever you feel like it. And unfortunately for me, I have a really big problem with both of those methods. Most people learn one or the other when it comes to methods. Most people will schedule their meals or they'll just eat whenever. But for me, when I was a little kid being raised by my mom, I learned both methods. If you've ever had somebody tell you, clean your plate because there are starving children off there in the world who would love to have what you have, that starving child was my mother. My mom lived in a situation where food was not available all the time. So when food was available, she had to eat it all, and she had to eat it quickly, and she had to eat as much as possible because there was no guarantee that there would be food later. And unfortunately, when she grew up, when she was no longer in that situation anymore, she never learned a better method of eating, for lack of a better term. Like, better is subjective, but she never learned a healthier adaptation. And because of that, when my brother and I were born, she imparted on us those same eating habits. We would have scheduled breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but we were also encouraged to eat anytime food was available, to eat until that food was gone, to eat even if you're not hungry, eat past the point of discomfort because you never know when there will be no food available. My mom really did believe that. And never mind that our pantry was full, never mind that the garden was blooming. You can't count on that sort of stuff. We could be starving tomorrow. You never know, so eat right now. And while I totally do not blame her, I know that her upbringing was very difficult. I do sometimes feel like I am currently living a lifestyle that is really incongruent with the way that I was raised. I think the way that I was raised is part of the reason why the candy shelf is such a problem for me. It's just a shelf full of candy that sits here at work. And part of me is saying, you gotta eat that whole candy shelf. You can't leave anything. Eat beyond the point of discomfort, because what if it's not there tomorrow? Never mind that it gets restocked every week. What if it's not there? I really do have a little scared person inside of me that is terrified of being hungry and terrified of food not being available at all times. And what's really interesting to me is that I don't think I'm the only person with this problem. There are a lot of people that I've come across on the internet, coworkers, people that I know who seem to also have this same problem. They'll eat because it's a certain time of day and they're supposed to eat at that time, but they'll also continue eating whenever they feel like it during the day, whenever food is available. And then they'll lament at like 7 o'clock at night that they can't stop eating. They don't know how. I do think that it comes down to habit, like having something in your mouth, having something for your hands to do. It's part of the reason why smokers always seem to be a little bit skinnier, because they have something else to do with their hands. I think that for me, I'm going to have to learn that food is not a scarcity thing. I have to move away from the scarcity mindset and toward a abundance mindset. I have food everywhere. I have food all around me, and I'm really lucky to be in that situation. So why can't I appreciate that? Why can't I appreciate that and respect that by eating to fuel my body rather than eating because I feel the need to? This is once again one of those things I don't have the answer for. I feel like every day I just come across these like strange, weird questions that I really just don't have the answer for. I think that even if I were to become a skinny person, even if I were to lose all the weight and become, perfect supermodel, I think that I would still struggle with a lot of these things until I come to those answers.